Okay, Bellator 295 from this past weekend. Let's see. Let's talk about the main card fights from Bellator 295. And the main event, Patchy Mix defeated Raufeon Stots by knockout via vicious knee right up the middle at 1 minute and 20 seconds of the very first round. Mark, take it away. Give us your take of Patchy Mix getting it done, defeating Raufeon Stots in the Grand Prix.
What a night and what a coronation for Patchy Mix. I mean, I guess not a coronation in that he's not the true champ, but he's the interim champ and the winner of this tournament, and it kind of feels like he's the champ, if I'm being honest. I got to tell you, my pick is my pick. Obviously, I was torn, and I went Stots in the end. I started watching these promos. First, I saw the promos on Friday when I was watching the first Bellator event, and then again on Saturday going into this, and I was like, I think I might have took the wrong fucking guy here. Patchy Mix just seemed so dialed in. Like every interview, he just came across as so ready and like he had already seen it happen in his mind. And by the time they walked out, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be like that, but I was like, fuck, I think Patchy Mix can do this. And it did not take long. We didn't even get to see them grapple, which is what I was looking so forward to. You know, could Stotts scramble and resist the grappling and keep it standing and blah, all that. We didn't even get to see it. Just the immediate knee pretty much, but huge statement for Patchy. Most thought that he needed to grapple to win this fight. And instead, all he did was throw strikes for a couple minutes, and he walked out of there with 2 belts and $1 million. So super impressive. He was so calm. Even the knee was calm. Like it wasn't a jumping knee or a flying knee. It was simply a pawed right jab that made Stotts kind of dip down to his right, followed by a walk-off standing left knee strike that put Stotts out immediately and completely. So, you know, this has been said before in MMA about plenty of guys, and sometimes history ends up making it sound foolish as time goes on, but I really do think we might have just seen a coronation on Saturday of one of the best bantamweights on the planet. I think we may be at a point of realizing that Patchy Mix is one of the most dangerous bantamweights on this earth. He has the one loss to Juan Archuleta. I think it was a bit more of a not ready, cardio wasn't there because he faded hard in that fight type of a deal, and it was a fight that he needed to be able to make himself take that next step, and he has taken it because he seems like the very real deal.
Omar, what was your take?
I mean, how good does that knee look? Uh, that knee to me, that whole performance to me really was very fundamental in kind of the best way. There wasn't really a lot of flash. It didn't go on for very long for there to be any flash. But that jab knee, that shit is like day two. You know what I mean? Like very simple, but very effective, especially when you have the timing right, especially when you have the length. And the knee, you know, if you look at that knee, it was timed well where Stotts was coming in. That knee still went up. There was still length and height to that knee, and it was fully extended. I think both Mark and I don't know if we called submissions or not. Never in a million years would I have pictured Stotts getting laid out in less than 2 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's move on to the co-main event of Bellator.
Wait, hold on. I want to talk about the matchups at least.
Oh, do it.
Yeah, so Patchy Mix is now finding himself waiting for the winner of this super fight that's going down between Sergio Pettis and Patricio Pitbull. And whoever it is, it's going to be fucking huge. And I would be surprised if Sergio Pettis can beat Patricio Pitbull. So my mind wants to say we're looking at Pitbull versus Mix. And I think that could be beyond an interesting matchup for Pitbull. One of the most interesting we've seen him have in Bellator.
Yeah, for sure.
And for Stots, you know, you let that same Pettis Pitbull fight happen. Maybe if Pettis loses, that's the fight to make. But you could also go back to Sabatello, who we're going to get to in a minute, because their fight was close as shit, and they continue to talk shit to each other, and you could book that one again super easy.
God, I hope it's more entertaining than the first one, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. Looking at it here. Man, got that $1 million payday. Good for him, man. You want to move on now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, women's flyweight. How do you say her name? Ilima-Lei?
Ilima-Lei.
Ilima-Lei. Macfarlane defeated Kana Watanabe by a split decision. Omar, give your take. Who do you think is the rightful winner?
This was kind of another pain in the ass, to be honest, of a fight. Kana Watanabe, I think, worked a little bit too much grappling, I think, in my opinion. It might have been maybe I don't know if it was a result of Macfarlane trying to engage in the grappling or trying not to exchange with Macfarlane, but I think there was just a little too much grappling, and I think it was to the detriment of Watanabe. It was a close fight, and I think it was close because there weren't a lot of big moments that you could really take from one person or the other. At least overall, I should say, right? The girls fought. It was a hard-fought fight. But I think in the end, it was one of those decisions as the rounds went on that you knew was going to get messy because you really could make an argument from one girl or the other on both sides. So I had Lee Macfarlane winning rounds, I think 1 and 3.
Yep.
1 and 3, and then Watanabe won round 2. Actually, I haven't even looked at MMA decisions. I have no idea what they've said about this.
Not either.
Not a ton of people have submitted scores for it, but it actually looks like they have Watanabe winning rounds 2 and round 3.
So, yeah, okay. That's what I figured. That's what Twitter seemed to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a close fight. Ilima-Lei looked awesome in round 1, I thought. Watanabe had a couple moments with the grappling, but Macfarlane did well enough to stay safe in those, and she was putting right hands through Kana's face, like again and again, big straight rights. And then they started to become 1-2s. So to me, that round was all Ilima-Lei. Round 2 was Watanabe's round. She really got the grappling going in that round. She managed a lot more control. Again, Macfarlane did well to defend. I actually thought she looked really, really good in this fight on the ground. But round 2 certainly went to Watanabe. And then round 3, I agree. I think it was Ilima-Lei, man. Twitter, I didn't see this fight live, and Twitter made me think I was about to watch some robbery. Like, there was so many tweets of, like, that was one of the worst decisions, in the year, blah, blah, blah. I fully think Ilima-Lei won that fight. Kana did a whole lot of hugging with a whole lot of nothing in round 3. To me, every moment of note in that round came from Ilima-Lei, and I give her that round. And I don't think Watanabe can complain too much about a decision where she did so little in trying to push it in that final round.
Okay. Let's move on.
Can we match up? Why are we skipping matchups?
Bro, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I'm going to be honest. All right, matchup. Do it.
I'm giving Ilima-Lei the Liz fight. I mean, she asked for it. She has said that she plans to only take one more fight. So it is her retirement fight. She was the inaugural flyweight champion in Bellator. Liz needs a new challenger. They are former training partners. They seem to be very friendly with each other and both down for it. I'm on board. I think it's a proper way to send Ilima-Lei off. And if she happens to win the fight, I don't know what the fuck you do then, but you could maybe do a tournament, which Bellator loves to do. So, hey, got options.
Any other ideas, Omar?
I can tell you right now, there is no idea that Liz Carmouche loses to Ilima-Lei. I can tell you that shit now. Right now. Today. No, I think that's probably a good fight. Just feed another one to Liz Carmouche and let her cement her Bellator legacy.
Yeah, man. You want to say anything about Watanabe?
I'll throw one. I'll say Justine Kish for her.
Fucking hell, that's a grappling. That's all grappling all day. They're gonna be rolling around the fucking floor for 15 minutes.
All right,
Jesus
at a catch
Christ.
weight of 165 pounds, Yancy Medeiros defeats Charlie Leary by submission via rear naked choke. The official time coming 4 minutes 39 seconds of round number 1. Omar, what was your take of Yancy Medeiros? Looking good.
I will say this first. Frank Trigg being referee is still one of my favorite things. I'm just gonna
Yeah, dude, I love it too. I love it
Still
too.
one of
And
my
he seems
favorite
good so
things.
far from what I see.
He seems so much more chill now.
So
as like
chill, yeah.
As like a human being. Like if you
Yeah.
go back and watch fights, like just Frank Trigg as a human while he was fighting in the UFC, the man is a psychopath. Like there
Yeah.
was something wrong with him back then.
I always liked him on commentary though. Who did he fucking commentate for? Strikeforce?
I don't know.
Or did he end up in Pride toward the end? I forget. But he was always like a normal man on commentary.
So odd. He's so chill now though.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the fight. Yancy Medeiros did work, man. It's good to see that his crazy little style still does the job. He's another one of these guys that sloppy. I don't know if is really the best term for him, but kind of like a Brandon Royval. He's very unorthodox, very scrambly, and very movie, if you will.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those fights where he put that to the guy's test, and Leary here was not able to keep his shit together for the entire round. Eventually, Medeiros finds his way to the back, chokes him out, and there we go.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know how high level the striking was in this one, but they certainly went to war. They both took damage. They both pushed through big shots. It was Yancy whose chin held up more. It was Yancy who landed the bigger bombs. And after a few, Charlie Leary just he kept rallying himself, but after a bit, he didn't have any rallies left. And Yancy eventually snuck to the back, locked it up. So it's not any type of noteworthy win, I guess, in the big scheme of things. So I'm not going to make it that, but it's nice to see Yancy in Bellator doing well, getting W's in Hawaii. He always seemed like a cool dude, so glad to see him doing well.
Definitely the fight Hawaii wanted to see. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy to have on the roster for all these Hawaiian cards that Bellator does.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Mark, matchup Yancy Medeiros right now.
I will say J.J. Wilson. He's a guy that I remember we all liked when he was a featherweight coming up in Bellator, and then he had his weight issues. Moved up to lightweight. He's gone 1-1 there since the move, but I think that Yancey's kind of the right kind of veteran, established dude to be a good test for J.J. Wilson. Granted, I don't know if he can make lightweight. They didn't make it. Neither of them made it for this fight, so who knows?
Speaking of weight issues, can we acknowledge how big of a fucking chooch Ray Borg is? Because
What a fucking chooch, man.
this guy is out of control, this man. I don't understand how this man even still has a career. In the contract at this point.
He's
it
done.
should
He
be
said he retired now.
Oh,
Good.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah, he
Let's
said he
work
made a
on it.
promise with himself that if he missed weight again, he'd retire. Granted, I feel like he said that once before, so fucking.
Why don't you just fucking make weight?
Yeah. I don't know. Dude, I didn't even
What's
know
going
this.
on?
So we didn't even know this when we previewed. It was supposed to be at flyweight. Ray Borg's people then asked, I don't know when, but apparently like before we even did the preview, for it to be at 130. Bellator agreed, Horiguchi agreed. Then he, on weigh-in day, told him he wasn't even going to make that and asked for it. and Bellator said, to Kyoji, would you do it at straight up bantamweight? Kyoji said yes, and Borg couldn't make bantamweight.
Oh my God.
No, that sounds about right though.
I mean,
It sounds about right. That I feel like that's not even the first time that's happened with Ray Borg. I feel like they've done that shit before. Not to mention Ray Borg just pulling out of fucking fights last minute, not even having to deal with weight cutting, just life, I guess, and him not being able to manage it all or whatever is going on. I know he has a lot of those family issues and stuff, but fucking hell, man. I mean, it's just a real crazy combination of things to go wrong in your career. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, you could tell that Scott Coker was pissed when he was talking about it, like legitimately pissed.
I would imagine so, especially because you could see it coming, right? Like,
Totally.
there's no way that you signed Ray Borg without telling yourself this is a possibility.
Yeah.
And I think he just hates. He probably gave him a lot of chances, a lot of rope, a lot of, support, and this, that, and the other, and he still got fucked. Scott Coker still gets fucked in the end.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Yep. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, featherweight division, Bellator 295, Honolulu, Hawaii. In the featherweight division, Aaron Pico defeats James Gonzalez by unanimous decision. It is a shutout on the scorecards, 30-27s across the board. Omar, take it away first. Give us your take, Aaron Pico doing Aaron Pico things.
Pico is disgusting. Pico looks so fucking good. His striking is terrifying. The way he's able to land punches and put power behind his punches and the speed is absolutely crazy. His kicks are obviously another thing to be concerned about, but there is a real elegance to the way that man throws hands that just has to be appreciated. And then you got his takedowns on top of that. He's really learned how to be comfortable mixing it up in the middle of those chaotic events in the fight. And James Gonzalez, I don't know much about him. I know he fights out of Ray Longo's gym in Long Island. I don't know much about him. Kid's a scrapper. That kid at no point gave up in that fight, especially fighting a guy, with a name like Aaron Pico and frankly the talent of Aaron Pico. Gonzalez was in that fight, man, and yes, he lost every single round, but he made Aaron Pico work for it because in all senses of the word, a lot of those exchanges, Aaron Pico would have walked away with a TKO, I think, from a lot of other people. So good on Gonzalez for a performance that I thought, made a good accounting of himself, but this was Aaron Pico's night for sure.
Yeah, man. Mark?
Dude, Aaron Pico must have turned that man's insides to mincemeat. There were
Blood.
so many big body shots from Pico, and he fought a good fight, man. I'm sure he would have loved to make a statement. I know some people were saying they felt that he should have got a finish against that type of opponent. Gonzalez was tough as shit, as you just said. Like, Pico fought a good fight. He boxed, he clinched, he wrestled. He tried a bit of everything. He landed a bunch of big shots. He won the whole fight. Sometimes the finish just doesn't come. And you could tell Pico was impressed, too, in the post-fight interview. He was like, that was a tough fucking dude. So you could tell. And, sometimes it's going to be a decision. And I thought he looked great. The win is what matters. He comes back from the injury. He proves that he is healthy and ready to go. He gets rolling again here now, and hopefully the next opponent is back at the level he was at pre-injury. I guess they wanted to ease him into things, and they did.
Cool.
Being mad at Aaron Pico for not finishing a fight like that is like being mad at Max for every fight he's dominated and never finished.
Yeah.
It's like Aaron Pico did masterful work in that fight, and just, I mean, like we said, Gonzalez is just tough. I mean, what did you want him to? I don't actually think if he hit Gonzalez with a chair, it would have stopped him. So,
yeah.
Okay. Let us move on now to Bellator 294.
I will match up Pico quickly.
Oh, so sorry.
He mentioned right away that he thinks they should introduce the interim title with Pitbull going down to fight Sergio.
I bet he does.
It makes sense, but B, I don't know if Bellator loves the interim title quite as much as the UFC does. They love the tournament title, but I mean, granted, they did it at bantamweight, but I feel like it's because it was in the tournament. Who knows? But either way, whether it's for an interim title or not, I think you go right back to the Jeremy Kennedy fight. I know Kennedy fought again. He beat Pedro Carvalho. He was thinking he would get a Pitbull title shot, but it doesn't seem like that's happening unless he's waiting like a minute right now.
Yeah.
So personally, I think you just take Pico and Kennedy and you run it back and see who wins without his shoulder popping out.
That's what I thought. I thought that was the kid that the shoulder popped out.